Welcome, my name is Matt, aka Roadjet88. We are getting into Star Wars, Galaxy of Heroes, mods, on IG-90. And this one is a bit of a throw off for me because I had a lot to say about IG-88 and how he's probably still out there in the galaxy booking it because of how tough he is. And as I pointed out in the IG-86 mods video as well, I pointed out that as the models of the IG units modeled up, they were supposed to be enhanced from its previous model to be more sturdy and more docile, if you want to look at it that way. In IG-88, I cannot think of a single book I've ever read where it's ever suggested that he ever dies. It's possible he's still alive. If we're talking about IG-90, how is it there's not a single book about him? Now, this is a Disney IG unit. And I don't know where they came up with this one. Seemed like it came from the Andor era set, because I know this is relatively new. And it did come from the Andor. While Andor was largely good quality, considering the backstories of the Death Star plans that were obtained, as well as the backstories that you can get on Mon Mothma, as well as Bail Organa, some of these other characters that we are aware of. There are plenty of backstories that talks about these people in the post-Return of the Jedi books from the George Lucas era generation of Star Wars. And they did a pretty good job with Andor and Rogue One, especially with filling in the gaps of the stuff that there was no backstories for. It made it worth watching. There were a couple things, but it wasn't a royal nightmare in comparison to the sequel trilogy or Book of Boba Fett and what Ahsoka risks being. And I hope to God that, or I hope that the Mandalorian Grogu don't end up going in that direction too. Because so far, the subtle things, I've been able to find ways to humor my way through to accept and enjoy the Mandalorian series. That and Ahsoka, they're among one of the few rarities, and Skeleton Crew, that I can actually humor the Disney's hands on based on what I know from my generation of Star Wars, and still be able to enjoy them. If anyone's asking about how Skeleton Crew, because of the Star Wars Galaxy of Fear books, it actually kind of coincides with the book series that have been written that were kind of geared in that direction. It does actually work, believe it or not. You can read the Star Wars Galaxy of Fear to see what I'm talking about, because that came out in the 90s, but at the same time, Goosebumps was a big thing. But IG-90, if he came with our Andor pack of the era pack that they've started doing in this game recently, then that suggests he's from that series. I don't recall ever seeing an IG unit anywhere, though. But if this is the case, then somehow the IG-90s should be still operating and running around like IG-88 is. It should mean that this IG unit is stronger than IG-88. It should mean that this IG-90 is probably more docile than IG-88. Assuming I'm correct, because I swear I ended up with this one unlocked from working with the Andor era pack, but I could be wrong. You can correct me down in the comments section down below if I'm mistaken. But IG-88, he would be of that time era also as IG-90. There was a while there, the Empire was shelling out new models of IG units. So, up until the Empire suddenly no longer existed. But, and the remnants were stuck utilizing whatever was still around. IG-88 was a common one. In fact, when they ran The Mandalorian, I would have preferred to have seen IG-88 instead of IG-11, but then at the same time, IG-88 would have killed Mando. So, whatever. We can work with IG-11. He's still a shrimp in comparison. IG-90. I would imagine would have to still be alive like IG-88 if my memory serves me right. I've never read a book where IG-88 dies, which suggests he's still alive. And it's because of his thicker alloy, and he is more docile than IG-11, or any of the other IG units before him. IG-90, 2 models up from IG-88, suggests, yeah, not any better than IG-88. In fact, he's probably worse than IG-88. But that's a Disney thing. So I don't know anything about IG-90. And I don't recall seeing him in any film scenes, unless it's just been an oversight on my part. But, nonetheless, he's in this game. They're here. He's here. They're suggesting that he exists. Maybe he's in a video game or something. I don't know. But IG-90 is a support character. You can go to my first video of my mods playlist where I break down the definition of the various different types of character roles as well as the different types of mods and what it is we are doing when we put them together. If you go to swgoh.gg, they recommended speed and tenacity. Here they're recommending speed and critical chance. He's a support character. You go speed and critical chance, you have him supporting as an attacker. Speed and tenacity, you have him supporting like a tank, really, if anything. Because that tenacity, by definition, means unable to tear apart. Not easy to tear apart. He's strong. He's sturdy. And actually, when you look at IG-88's mods, you could probably take that into consideration, too, for him. Giving him tenacity in place of something. You just need 2 tenacities for it to activate. So, for an IG unit, tenacity is actually not a bad idea. Hell, IG-11 probably needs it more than 88 or 90 do. Especially now if he's nursing. But, IG-90 is a support character. If we take the speed and tenacity approach, we have him supporting like a tank. If we go the speed and critical chance approach, we have him supporting like an attacker, being an attack supporter or support attacker. So that is IG-90, his mods, and yeah, IG-90's mods for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comments, questions, suggestions down below, and thank you for following. May the Force be with you.